right, good morning, Red Carpet. It is always a good day when it is a Red Carpet day. So today we are going to be honoring Jessica with Sun Breath Yoga. So it's going to be a fun one. So Jessica is kind of all over from the place. She grew up in the military and then she ended up joining the service. So thank you. We do love our veterans. After graduating college, she kind of moved all over the world every 3 to 5 years. When Jessica and her husband, Tom, decided it was time to settle in one place, they knew they wanted to live somewhere that had a lot of opportunity for outdoor stuff, good bikeability, and wasn't too big of a city. And they kind of ended up here, so I think they kind of nailed the location, don't you guys? After Jessica graduated from the University of Florida, she made her way over to the other side of the country, the other coast, and she lived and worked in San Diego. That is where she met her future husband, Tom. Jessica and Tom's relationship really got serious after their jobs actually took them to Europe. So Tom was in the Netherlands and Jessica was in Greece, and their dates were weekend trips in the Mediterranean, so pretty romantic. I think if Tom asked me to marry him, I'd say yes too. Today they got, so they've been married since 2015, and they are continuing their adventure together. So Jessica started yoga with a pre-med organization that she was with when she was in college. She was doing that to get participation points. So this kind of started as kind of a freebie and turned into something much more. She was pretty anxious about trying it. She kind of, the prospect of this being this new thing and being with new people kind of freaked her out a little bit. Well, she was hooked after one class. She really kind of enjoyed learning how to link her movement with her breath and really kind of taking herself out of her headscape and like really kind of calming down. So kind of those benefits of yoga she kind of saw right away. Jessica has been practicing yoga ever since. If you know Jessica, you can't really tell by looking at her, but this was over 10 years ago. So I kind of think yoga is the fountain of youth. So we might all have to kind of tap into it. After getting out of the Navy, Jessica became a yoga teacher. She started teaching in studios. She started incorporating her own flavor into her teaching. She started mixing yoga with outdoor activities like hiking and paddleboarding. We're going to talk about that a little bit today. And then before moving to Colorado, Jessica and Tom actually decided to take a sabbatical. So they took a little bit of time off, and this actually gave Jessica the opportunity to work completely independent. She was able to organize and teach the very first yoga class in the town of Reed City, Michigan. And then from there, she started online teaching so she could kind of continue traveling. So it really did kind of open up this flexibility for her. Jessica really loves seeing people do things they never thought they could do. We're gonna find that out today, gang, so be ready. And she specializes in teaching the inflexible. So probably all of us here. Whether it's an older beginner that wants to kind of stay healthy enough to kind of, catch up, make sure they can keep up with their grandkids, or kind of the youngin', like a lot of us, that are starting to notice that we're slowing down or we can't move as good as we used to. She's in the process of making an 8-week course just for beginners, so please stay tuned. She's going to have some awesome stuff for us in the future. I did ask Jessica, like I always do, a silly question to close us out. I asked her if she would rather have 12-inch fingers or 12-inch toes, and why. She said 12-inch fingers. She'd be better at the piano if she had 12-inch fingers, and buying shoes with 12-inch toes sounds a lot harder. So she's a pretty smart gal. So please help me welcome a big red carpet welcome to Jessica with Sun Breath Yoga.
Hey, so my name is Jessica Lucy, and yes, I'm with Sun Breath Yoga. So we do a lot of bringing people into connection, community, and ease through slow-paced, accessible, mindful movements. And I mean, what does that mean? So connection, we are really into connecting breath with movement, and that really helps get into like this body space instead of the head space that Chad talked about. And we'll do some of that today. We're actually moving today. You can't have me talking about yoga without doing something related to that, some movement. And then community, we have a meetup group actually going on where we not only do yoga, but we do mindful movement. So hiking and paddling, if you're not used to doing that, we have a lot of stuff for beginners. because I think being able to not only connect with the movement, but also connect with nature really takes down all of the stress ability that we have. And I think right now in this like Corona time, it's kind of stressful. So one of the things that we can do is go outside, and another thing that we can do is move, and that's like my business. So, and then ease, when you're really good in the mind space and the body space, you move better, you think better, you feel better. And I think that's what we kind of all want. We want to be able to feel better living the life that we want to live. So let's actually get up and do some movement. So this first one is called Breath of Joy, and it is going to be a breathing exercise with movement. So 3 parts. You're going to inhale in through the nose 3 times, and on the exhale, you'll exhale out the mouth. And you'll have arm movement. So you'll inhale up, hands come like parallel, inhale again, arms come out, and then inhale again, arms go all the way up, and on the exhale out through your mouth, you bend the knees, fold all the way down. So that's slow, you can go up really fast too. So inhale, 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 in through the nose, exhale out through the mouth, inhale, 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 exhale out the mouth. And then we'll do it one more time without me talking and just breathing. Go. One more time, actually. And come up, slow down, and notice how you feel right now. We only did it for a little bit, so maybe even close your eyes and notice if you feel more awake or more asleep. Notice if any parts of your body tingle a little bit. Notice, part of yoga is noticing. So you can do this one at any time when you want a little pick-me-up, because this actually, you know, lifts you up. It's called Breath of Joy for a reason. And either in the morning, or I have some people do this in the middle of the day, and it feels really nice. So also I get a lot of people saying, oh, my hamstrings are kind of tight and I can't touch my toes, so I can't stretch my hamstrings. But as Chad said, I work with a lot of inflexible people, and there's a whole bunch of ways to stretch your hamstrings without touching your toes. In fact, my husband says that he can touch his toes without having, while having tight hamstrings. And let me show you what he does. Okay, he does this. So he's like, yeah, I know all the tricks. I just bend my knees and touch my toes, but you're not really stretching all that much. So this is nice even if you're at a desk or something. So you'll want a wall or a chair. Bring the hands up towards like the low rib space. Hands go onto the wall. Walk the feet back. You'll make an L shape with your body. Maybe even walk the hands down a little bit more. There's your L shape. Then on the exhale, relax the chest down, press the hips back, and breathe nice and long. So not only are you stretching out through the hamstring space, you're also getting this nice opening through the front of the body, which is great if you are typing on the computer, or if you're one of those people who likes to ride bikes, like mountain bikes, and you have that hunched over space. This is really great to counteract that. So a couple more deep breaths. In and out through the nose. Then take a big exhale, slowly bend the knees, look up, and begin walking back towards the wall. So notice how that feels. And Chad, how do you feel, Chad?
I am loose as heck. It feels great. It feels good.
So do we have time for one more? I think so. Yeah.
I think so.
So the next one, I was actually talking to a new person that I met when we were going paddling. She was like, you know, I hike a lot, I do all of these active things, but I'm really sore in my legs and in this space right here. What do you recommend? Because she's done lots of lunges, but she is just not getting to her. Well, I do recommend lunges, and here's how I recommend you doing them. So take a big step forward. Let's start with the left foot. Right foot goes back. Stay up on the ball of the back foot, and then bend the front knee a lot. So then once you're there, you may or may not notice something in the front of the right hip flexor area space. Oh no, I'm wearing dark clothes. Anyways, so you have these two hip points on your hips. Imagine that you're bringing the space below your belly button up toward your heart. Your tailbone descends and something happens in the right leg. You may or may not notice something. Bring the right hip forward, left hip back, and imagine that you're bringing this bony part of your right hip up towards your belly button. Bend the front knee one more time and soften through the jaw and the shoulders. One of the things that people don't realize is that when you're doing all these stretching things, if your jaw is really tight or if your shoulders are really tight or anything else like that, then that kind of affects what's going on through the rest of your body too, because you're all connected. Take a couple more big deep breaths in and out through the nose. And as you breathe out, imagine that the space that's feeling a whole lot of sensation is softening. So that's when the body naturally lets go. 2 more breaths. Then inhale, slowly straighten the front leg. Let's pivot. And what's really nice is that you have to do the other side because it feels good. Bend the front knee again, and now you get to try it a second time. So right hip back, left hip forward. Engage through the low abdomen as if you're bringing the space below the belly button up towards your heart. And then imagine that your left hip space, this left point under your hip, is going up towards your belly button. Deep breaths in and out through the nose. So, if you notice one side is tighter than the other, you might want to do that side for twice as long as the not as tight side. So, inhale, come back up, dial the feet forward. You can bring the legs together again and notice how you feel. And that is the movement portion. Let's see if there's any questions about that. Oh, you needed that. Thanks. I'm glad, Sean. Ooh, Brenda said that you look great, Chad.
Oh, I know.
With the lunges, are feet parallel or turned out? So let me walk all the way back. Your feet, with those lunges that we just did, are going to face forward. So everything faces forward, the hips point forward, the toes point forward. That's great. And then you can do the other side. They all point forward. You're welcome. Is there a way to get the benefit without the effort? There actually is. So I'm working on a flexibility guide where we're doing passive stretching. So that's where you hold the stretches for a long time, and you're able to do that because you are supported with like props, or if you have a friend, you can be supported by your friend. This guide uses props, so if you don't have a friend, then that's okay. Let's see, but you're also going to want to do it more often than not, because it took you a while to get there and it's going to take a while to get out of it. So, oh, Emily says that we love Jessica with senior helpers. Thank you. Can you talk about your beginner program? So my beginner program goes over, it's an 8-week program, and we'll go over kind of the basics. So we'll learn how to breathe. We'll learn about how different body parts work together. Learn how to really take that proprioception, like where you are in space, and then interoception, how you are feeling and being able to notice how you feel in your body and apply that. I also talk about how you can apply things in yoga, like yogic principles, to life, but it's not like a yoga philosophy course. So there are things called the yamas and the niyamas, which is basically like, I hate to dial it down so much like this, but like the do's and don'ts of what you can do. So non-harming, non-stealing, or tapas, which is like dedication and work and stuff like that. So there are universal principles that can be applied to life, and we can go over that too. The benefits of flexibility. So flexibility is beneficial. If you are not flexible, you already know what the benefits are. If you are super flexible, let me go back. How should I put it? So you need both. You need flexibility and strength. And if you work privately with me, we kind of go over integrating both the flexibility and the strength, because if you are strong but you can't move, it's kind of hard to live life that way. So my favorite example is that if you know a bodybuilder and they're like really big and they walk like this, but they cannot lift their arms overhead, because if your pecs get too big, it's really hard for you to lift your arms. And that kind of limits your mobility. And when I was in college, I knew there were some people who were really great at bodybuilding, and they thought, you know, the best thing about bodybuilding, I can't that's how I know I've made it. I can't reach my hand back and wipe when I use the bathroom. I'm like, that's not good either. So there's a lot of practical things that you can do with flexibility. I'm kind of on the opposite end, where I was super flexible but needed the strength to bring it in. So when I get too flexible, this is an easy thing to see. So if you look at my waist, this low back spot right here, so if I'm too flexible, my low back goes out, and then there's this compression that happens right there. You notice that it gets more a smaller arc, and that's because there's no strength and integrity in the core space. So once that gets built up, there's this nice long spine, or the spine has more length, and it's a more fluid curve than a compressed curve. So that's one example of needing both the flexibility and the strength. Oh, that's a good question. What is the biggest misconception about yoga? That only flexible people can do yoga, or that only like Instagram people can do yoga. And I think yoga is for everyone. You just have to find which type of yoga is right for you. It's more than just the poses that happen on the mat. Like I said, there's the other principles of yoga, like the philosophy part. There's a meditation portion that actually helps you see, oh, this is me sitting and these are my thoughts. So you can separate yourself from your thoughts. And that's really good for decision making that you use throughout your day, throughout your life. And there are definitely lots of ways to practice the actual poses without being, oh, I'm the most flexible person in the world, or, oh, I'm the strongest person in the world. There's something for everyone, and I specialize in, you know, the people who aren't flexible and the people who just want to live their life, like their best life, whatever. So let's see. Yes, it's never too late, Francis. You're right. With emphasis lately on building immunities in our body, how does yoga help? So movement is a big portion of like what people generally associate with yoga, and having movement through your day helps with immunity. Being less stressed helps with immunity, and you might have noticed that as you were breathing and holding those postures for a little longer, the mind kind of stopped doing all that crazy stuff that happens. There is also the community aspect that I talked about. So when you're with other people doing the same thing, you kind of build a community that way. And that is also impacting immunity. And what's another one? I talked about watching the mind and seeing, hey, these are my thoughts versus this is what's really happening. So that also affects immunity based on, hey, I'm going to freak out, or no, I don't need to freak out right now. So stress is a big thing with immunity as well. Did I miss anything?
Jess, there's one, do you work out of a studio and do home visits? That was one of the questions.
Okay, so right now I have a studio space. Just because of what's going on with coronavirus and all of this, I've decided that we're closing the studio space at the end of the month. So our last classes will be July 30th. We still are going to do outdoor classes. Right now we have a class on Wednesday. It's yoga in the park at 5:30 over at Spring Park. And we also have classes every other Saturday on Horsetooth. They are sup yoga classes, and those are really fun. You go onto a paddleboard, you paddle to a location, and you do yoga, and you don't have to know how to do yoga or to do sup in order to do this. I've actually had people who've never done both, and they do fine. If you're worried about falling in the water, you will get a really refreshing feeling because it's so hot outside. You don't have to fall in the water, and if you do, there's always ways to get you back up on the board and participating with the group. Or if the group wants to fall in, they can also fall in. That's happened before too. So.
And do you do private classes too, Jess?
I do private classes. I'm actually going to still do private classes in person, and we'll do it at the Orchard. So if you're not familiar with the Orchard, it's an integrated health center over on LeMay, and that's where I'll be doing my one-on-one classes after July ends.
And do you do Zoom classes also?
Yes, so our one-on-ones can be on Zoom or in person. Currently over the summer, I'm not doing any one-on-one group classes, but I am looking at doing that once the change in seasons happens. So either September or October. And I haven't decided if this beginner class is going to be an online class or an in-person class or a mixture of both. So if you're interested in that, I'd like some feedback on which would be best for you, because I mean, this is a service-based business and we're here for whoever needs the yoga. So.
Perfect. Where do you sign up for the Wednesday night yoga at Spring Park? Is it on your website?
I have a website, sunbreathyoga.com. If you go under the classes page, you'll see all the classes that are available.
Is that the one that's on the chamber website too?
Yes, it's on the chamber website.
From Jean, with our new Zoom environment and sitting all day, do you have some quick stretches besides the ones that you showed us that people could do just to get out of their chairs for a little bit?
So those are the best ones, just because they hit like the bigger body part areas. And let me think of another one. Got the major leg parts, got the chest, and this one might feel nice if you're not used to doing, if you don't like the wall. Bring the hands to the, if you have pockets, they would go to where your pockets are. Inhale, lift the chest up, elbows point back. You might even want to look up. Big breath in. Exhale fully, and then to come out, if the head is back, bring the head back, and then take the hands out of the pockets.
Perfect.
That feels nice.
Let's see, did we miss any? Oh, how often do you suggest doing yoga?
So, I mean, there's different aspects of yogas, and you could do them. I do yoga almost daily. I know some people can't do that or don't think that they can. If you do 10 minutes a day of that, that's great. If you do like one thing that you really want to work on for like 2 minutes or 5 minutes, then that's great. You can do it every day. So I think people could do yoga every day, and I suggest doing that, whether it's a stretch where you want to work on, hey, my hamstrings are really tight and that's what I really want to focus on, you can do that. Or you could sit and breathe for 5 minutes, like meditate for 5 minutes. And I mean, that's yoga. And if you want to do like a 1 hour session, you could do it. You could start at once a week and then build up from there. But I mean, like everything that we do, the more that we do it, the more momentum you have to do it. So it all depends on you and what you want.
Great. Does anybody else have any questions? I think we answered all the ones in the chat. Going once, going twice.
And then Kim, we are going to be doing a giveaway, but the way that you have to tap into that is similar to the way we've done it before. If you go over to Jessica's Facebook page, and we'll make sure to include that in the chat in just a second, give her a like, give her a follow, give her a comment that you were part of Red Carpet today, and that'll enter you into a drawing for a goodie bag. So in that bag, there's a $5 discount to some merchandise, some sage, some like a mat cleaning spray, a bunch of other good things to kind of get you started in yoga. So make sure you check that out.
Okay, so everyone, and Jess, will you put your Facebook account on the chat?
Yes, let me find it. I have like a million windows open in my thing. So it shouldn't be.
There's a great testimonial from Courtney. She said she did a private session with Jess focusing on specific goals for mind and body. She was great to listen, ask questions, and gives me poses and breath work that fits into my day. She's wonderful.
Oh, thank you, Courtney. I appreciate that. Okay. There it is. Oh, I thought I sent it to everyone. Now it's in there.
Awesome. Okay.
There it is.
Perfect.
All right, gang, are we ready for this ribbon cutting?
Yep. So let me, we're going to have everyone unmute themselves so that we can all say, what are we saying today, Chad?
We're going to go 1, 2, 3, just breathe. You got to remember to breathe.
Just breathe. All right, everyone, take yourselves off mute. And on the count of 3.
There's a song.
It is a song. Okay. Now
All right.
I have to do this without cutting.
Yeah, you got to do this without stabbing.
All right.
1, 2, 3.
Just breathe.
Yay!
Wonderful. Well, thank you, Jess. That was awesome. We're
You're
going to
welcome.
Thank you.
So if any of you have questions for Jess or any comments or anything, please do email her or like her on Facebook, and maybe we'll see you guys at some of these classes. I'm thinking the Wednesday night yoga sounds great. Paddleboarding, I've only been once, so maybe we'll start with the Wednesday night in the park.
Yeah, I'm also going to end up doing a Saturday class as well, whenever
Awesome.
it's in the works.
Very good. All right, anybody else have any questions for Jess?
Nope.
No? Well, thank you very much. Anybody have any announcements for the overall group before we get off?
And Credit Union will be doing their grand opening on next Monday.
Oh, very nice. And where's the location?
Jefferson and North College.
Oh, right in Old Town. Okay, very nice. And we have that information, right, Blake? So we can send it out.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay.
We're working with Chad on getting all that information out. So
Wonderful.
I've got new websites up. Veterans Compass new website has launched. Please go visit veteranscompass.org. Check us out.
Very nice. Thank you, Julia.
Thank you.
And I do have an announcement. We've just got 3 days left, actually 2 days left of our fundraiser, and the chamber has been very generous and if you want to make some last minute donations, we'd be very happy. Yeah, link is in the chat.
Wonderful. Who else? Anybody else?
We've got a program, Win 2020. So any adults that are looking to win the second half of 2020, come on down.
Hi,
Mike
Michael.
Wilson, Forge at NoCo.
Sounds like a good idea. All right. All right, guys. So coming up next, we have our next networking program on Tuesday, the 21st from 9 to 10. Again, this is all networking, so please join us. We'll switch around in some Zoom rooms to see who you'd like to meet some random people, get connected that way. So that'll be on the 21st. And then our reception next Thursday is for Todd Newcomer Photography. So that will be on Thursday of next week. So we got 2 things next week, Tuesday and Thursday. Both are up on our website, so please do register, and we will send out some reminders as well. All right, I think we're done, guys. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you next Tuesday.
Thank you, Kim.
Thank you.
Bye, guys.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
Kim. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.